Hello, Virgo. Welcome in. Welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing another bonus reading for Virgos, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Cross watchers are always welcome because you continue to have such high viewership on these readings. So I'm going to continue to send these out to you. All right, Virgo, let's get some divine messages for you. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. What's the overall energy of today's reading? What do the Virgos need to know, the ones who are here? What do they need to know most? What would be helpful? Thank you. What's hidden? Thank you. Outcome and advice. Thank you. All right. Snort. You're on the bottom of the, or top of the clarifying deck. So, all right, Virgo. The overall energy of today's reading is the Ace of Cups in reverse. A lack of love, lack of self-love, giving from an empty cup. All right, what does Virgo need to know about Ace of Cups in reverse? Ten of Wands reverse. You're letting go of burdens. Something has been burdensome. There's no love here. It's the first message. Feels like you've given everything, but it's a burden. I'm getting the message, maybe you're not the medicine for this situation. Maybe there's a recognition and the letting go, ending a cycle and letting go of something that's not loving. What's Virgo letting go of? Oof, wow, Three of Wands now reversed. A lack of desire. That's 13 Wands in reverse. A lack of action, a lack of desire, a lack of love, a lack of expansion, a lack of taking action in the 3D. The Six of Pentacles coming out as a challenge to these actions. Feels like you're over-investing. The challenge is, it feels like you invested too much. Maybe that's what you do. Feels like you're very generous, very giving, over-giving. Giving to the point where you don't give to yourself first. I can see why this leads to being overburdened, exhausted. It feels like the energy's going one way, not going back to you, Virgo. All right, what are they, Virgo, what are they releasing? Nine of Swords reverse, Fool card. Nine of Swords reverse is my card for getting out of a comfort zone. Feels like this might be some type of relationship where there's no love left, that you've put in more than your fair share. It might be more one-sided. That's what I'm getting. Feels like you really, really wanted this connection, this friendship, this relationship, and you overgave. It feels like you overgave. Until that became the expectation, that you just give and they take, something like that. Feels like you've invested everything and there's no expansion. It feels like it's some type of comfort zone relationship where there's comfort, this person's in bed, But there's all these swords, fears, keeping this person stuck in pain. But to get out of that comfort zone, they have to go through the fears. They have to face their fears and get on the other side. With Nine of Swords in reverse, it looks like you are doing that. You're facing your fears. Something is painful enough that you're willing to get out of the comfort zone and not stay and take a leap of faith in a new direction. All right, let's look at what's hidden. We have the Page of Wands in reverse, the Page of Pentacles, and Justice reversed. Page energy. And an injustice. Well, justice being balanced. And what I've been reading, Virgo, is not balanced at all. You giving from an empty cup. You pouring into someone else, others, not into yourself. From the get-go, that's an issue. That feels like the issue, maybe. Maybe you don't see your worth and value, so you overgive. You don't see what you bring to the table, so you're trying to overcompensate by pouring into someone else, pouring into others. Thinking this is as good as it gets or as good as you can receive. Feels like you do a lot of the lifting in the connection, all the giving, all the caring. It's going one way. Even financially, it feels like you invest in the 3D, but you are all in. But when it starts being all in, when it's not loving, there's not a reciprocity here. If we started here, then we would have a very different reading, right? If you love yourself, if you don't give from an empty cup, you give from the overflow. Because you love yourself first. You recognize healthy boundaries. You care for yourself. You know you like yourself. You have a relationship with yourself. And so you take care of yourself in relationships to yourself. So then when you're in a relationship and you have an empty cup, you don't pour from an empty cup. You say, I either need some help or I need to take some time to replenish. This might be chronic for you in relationships. All right. We're looking at the Page of Wands in reverse. Why is the Page of Wands in reverse and what's hidden? A lack of passion, a lack of excitement. Queen of Cups reverse, Eight of Swords, Four of Wands. Okay, this is touching on what I was just sharing. Not seeing your worth and value. Queen of Cups in reverse with your back turned. It's like you don't even see what you bring to the table. You're unable to see your own worth. It feels like you've been taught to, conditioned to not be able to see what you bring to the table. This kind of feels like the type of relationship where you have no needs, no wants. You are trying to be as creating no burdens. You're trying to make it as easy as possible for the other person to the point where you don't require anything in return is kind of, it's on a spectrum, and this is a collective reading, but it feels like you perceive that making it so easy, having no needs and no wants, because someone has told you that you're too much, you're too big, you need to, something like that. And so if you just shrink yourself down, then you can have a relationship. It feels like that's the belief system that you're clearing, because that's not true. You have amazing qualities. You are worthy of friendship. You're worthy of community. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of affection. You're worthy right now of relationships and friendships and community and care. Getting to that next state, having happiness by shrinking yourself down small enough is not how I perceive the key. That feels like you've been taught to, maybe in relationships, to shrink down and become in their world, not take up any space in a connection. What I'm perceiving as more of a healthy connection looks more like this down here. Not completely folding, collapsing, but being able to have your own perspective, and also the other person has their own beliefs, their own perspectives. You don't have to lose yourself in someone else. As a matter of fact, it feels like that might be, for some of you, that losing yourself in relationships might be kind of what I'm tuning into here. All right, let's see the Page of Pentacles. I love the Page of Pentacles. This is someone who's not a full cup. Full cup, you can't teach to a full cup. Someone who's willing, no matter if they're a magician, a star, a king, an emperor, an empress, if they can come back and be in this Page of Pentacles energy, it's very helpful. Beginner's mindset, learning as you go, figuring things out, neuroplasticity. I love the beginner's mindset, this new, always learning, even if you've achieved some levels. Okay. We've got the Star card reversed, 9 of Pentacles reversed, 7 of Cups reversed, 5 of Cups. I feel like we've got a story in what's hidden. That's, you've been learning. You've been in lesson. It's been a difficult lessons, painful lessons, but you can learn. You can start over. You can figure things out. I get the story. It feels like you don't have any other options. Maybe that's why you're clinging, holding on to something that's not like staying in a comfort zone, relationship-wise. It feels like this has been lessons, how you relate to yourself, how you relate. Might be codependency, dependency, losing yourself in a relationship. Maybe you didn't know that there are other ways to relate. It feels like when you get in these type of relationships, if this has been resonating for you, Virgo, where you shrink yourself down and live in their world, and you don't be a problem, and you do everything for them, that you feels like the relationships kind of fizzle out. You lose the taste for them before they end, because it's not, you're attuning to someone else's energy, their desires, their needs, and you're never getting your needs met. Living for someone else. Tell me about the Justice reversed. It feels like you overgive. Two of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. It feels like you are in what's hidden. You're seeing the imbalance in your relationships, and you're discerning that there can be a choice. You can relate differently. All right, Virgo, in the outcome and advice, we have the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Four of Pentacles reversed. Ten of Cups reverse feels like emotional overwhelm, disappointment. Four of Pentacles reverse is letting go. Okay. You might have been disappointed for a while. If you've been upset emotionally, disappointed about relationships, if that has been a large story in your life, your experience, that story, those beliefs have momentum, and it might take you a while to let that old story die down so you can create a story that you prefer. See if there's anything else, how Virgo can heal from that emotional overwhelm. Okay, I'm getting that your nervous system might be stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And that by losing yourself in relationships, oh, okay, there's limerence here. Fantasy, delusion, where you aren't really relating with them. You're connecting to a fantasy. This feels like something that might have started from childhood. You protect yourself because you love yourself, and you created a separate worldview. And so you have, it feels important to understand if this resonates. If you have these intense fantasies and projections and obsessions, and you just need that other person, it looks like, if that's the case, they're taking advantage of unhealed wounds and your limerence, obsession, addictions, taking advantage of that, telling you what you want to hear to get you to overgive. All right, Four of Pentacles in reverse. You're letting go of this old way of being, letting go of this limited perspective. Maybe this is how you thought relationships were. It feels like on every level, you're letting go of the limited beliefs, of the limited ways. You're no longer abandoning yourself in relationships. Chariot, Emperor, Cancerian and Aries energy. It looks like you're taking the lead. You might be making moves, moving on, and leading yourself. And divine masculine energy. This feels like taking action in a new direction. Letting go of these old ways of operating where you abandon yourself. So, all right, Virgo, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking and commenting and all the things so I can grow this channel. So appreciate you.